Hello, welcome. My name is Charles, and as you can see, my house is kind of messy. I didn't clean everything up because I wanted this to be a bit more of like a raw and real video, because I have been feeling like super tired and a bit burnt out and stressed recently, and just honestly in general, I don't have a perfect life, but I've lost 40 pounds and I've been able to keep them off for the past coming up 5 years. And I had this little thought the other day, I somehow have been able to keep going even without tons of motivation, willpower, a perfect life with kale growing in the backyard and my kids dressed in white linen and living in Hawaii and being really tan and beautiful and having abs. And I thought that might be helpful for other people to learn how. And I got up, my kids went to school, got them all ready. House was no one here except me and Nick. Perfect, I had no calls. I was like, I've got to film this video. And instead I went and took a nap. Yeah, so rather than do a perfect what I eat in a day and all the exercise that I am not doing and how amazing my life is, I thought I would share with you 8 to 10 things that I've consistently done and mindsets that I use to have kept the weight off, have lost it in the first place, even though my life is kind of crazy and not the best a lot of the time. I don't really know how to say this without it coming across like I'm looking for sympathy. And I don't feel victimized in my life. I feel very empowered. I feel very grateful for the life that I have. But there's a lot of elements to it that feel incredibly difficult. And there's a lot of days when I feel like I just have to count the minutes and the seconds to cope. It's really just get through this second right here. Literally just telling myself, Charles, you can get through the next minute. And the biggest reason for this is that my husband, Nick, who is an amazing person, who I love incredibly much, and we've been married for 9 years. We've known each other since we were about 16. My husband, Nick, has multiple sclerosis. And if you put a comment about some cures or Well's diet or MS protocol, whatever, I appreciate the thought, but we've literally looked into everything. Plant-based diet is the best bet that he has to slow the progression, but there's no cure for MS. There's no fix for it. If you have a different type than what he has, then you can manage sometimes relapses. For Nick's type of MS, which is called primary progressive, you have a constant, steady decline in symptoms and in function, and it's horrible. It's horrible because we don't know what the next 10 years or 5 years even looks like, and that we get comfortable, or maybe not comfortable, but we get used to some kind of loss of something, and then it's a new symptom. It's a new thing where it's well, how's this? Now this is going to affect our lives, and how's this? And if I really stop and think about where things could be, or what that looks like for our family, it feels very overwhelming. And I know that I'm not this is the thing, is I know that I'm not the only one that is dealing with really hard stuff. This is a really freaking hard thing to deal with. More for Nick, for me, I'm health-wise, I'm great. I'm in way better health than I was in my 20s. I'm in better shape. I'm leaner. I'm stronger. I'm fitter. I feel amazing most of the time. I feel pretty good. I wanted to put this out there because I just know that there's so many people that I've talked to who are just dealing with really crappy situations in their marriages, with their kids, with family members, health-wise, trauma, and mentally as well. Put on top of that, it's so many of us have got anxiety or depression. I had postpartum depression. I've struggled with depression a lot. You can probably understand why. It's a constant battle to stay positive and optimistic and choose to do things to do that. And again, I just wanted to give a little bit of context for why this matters so much. and give a little bit of hope that you do not have to have a perfect life. Because I used to always think that. I used to look at people who were couple goals, who were all living in Hawaii. I don't know why all the like beautifulest people live in Hawaii. And I used to look at them and I used to think, my husband can't even walk. Like, we can't like surf and like frolic on the beach and do all these things. Like, we're just, like, we used to be on the benefit. Like, we didn't even know what we were going to do to survive, apart from the $200 or $300 a week we got from the government. But my life is so infinitely better because I've been able to feel empowered in my health journey. And because I was able to lose those 40 pounds, gain so much confidence, understand like how to trust myself, do difficult things, develop discipline. And I just feel so empowered from that experience of losing weight. Like, losing weight it's such a catalyst for other areas of your life. Like, I started skateboarding, I started surfing, I started this YouTube channel and this business, and now we can help other people lose weight in a sustainable way. And it really just is a catalyst. But the first thing I learned, and that's helped me to stay consistent, even though there's always crap going on, is that I don't have to be 100% to see results. I don't have to be perfect. And I used to always think that I did. I was eating these 10 banana smoothies and I was doing like fully raw and salads and trying to follow diet plans like 100%. And then it would lead to me binging and ordering Domino's pizza and my favorite vegan curries because I couldn't. Like, I had to use so much willpower and I was constantly hungry. And we've all heard this like really airy-fairy, like progress, not perfection, and like just like the 80-20, do the best you can, all of this stuff. And yes, I 100% agree with that, but I wanted to explain why that works so well from a very data-driven perspective. And it's simply that you're reducing calories when you do that. If you are improving from where you are now, let's say your base level is that you go out and get beersies every weekend and that you've got like Ben & Jerry's in the fridge and you have that every night, and then you're like really like good, I hate those words, but good with your diet for a period of time, and then you find yourself binging. If that's your starting point, like if that's your base level, then if you were to go out and you were to have one beer, or you were to have half the thing of Ben & Jerry's, if you were to have more vegetables, if you were to stay one day more consistent than you normally would, by no stretch of the imagination is that an optimal diet for fat loss. No stretch. But from where you're coming from, that's a reduction in calories. That's a reduction in the processed food that you're eating. Therefore, an improvement. Therefore, better for you, more likely to give you those results than what you're doing now. And there's two ways to look at this. If you are gaining weight and you change and you improve, you're going to either slow the rate of gain, or you're going to plateau, which is maintain, or you're going to start losing. Like, either of those things are a win. If you are currently maintaining your weight, whatever lifestyle you have, and you start to make improvements, you're predictably going to be losing weight because you have lowered your calories. This is why you don't need to have 100% results or 100% effort to see results. You just have to be good enough, and you just have to be making progress. And progress is going to look different for you than it does for me or anyone else out there on the internet. So because my life is stressful and I don't always manage it well and I have mental health hang-ups and all these other things, knowing that I don't have to be 100% allows me to stay more consistent, because there's a lot of times I'm operating at 80 or 90 or even 70. I don't go back to 20 or negative 100 like I used to though. And that's the second thing, is that I no longer pendulum swing. So I no longer go from binging to perfect. I'm more looking at like, what's the best thing I can do? We use this mindset in our program called the next best mindset, which is what's the pinnacle of success, the perfect diet, the broccoli and potatoes, the salad. Okay, I'm not going to do that, right? I've had a stressful day. My kids have been screaming. I looked in the mirror and I had a heart attack. I'm going to go order pizza. You don't order the pizza. You go, well, if the salad's the best thing, what's something slightly better that I can actually conceivably do. Maybe I'll eat my salad and then I'll have a few bites of the pizza that I order for my kids. Or maybe I'll have a bit of a dessert after that. So you're always asking yourself, what's the best thing I can do? Like, what's my highest amount of contribution that I can make in this moment? It still requires effort. It allows me to build trust in myself, and I'm no longer like swinging back and forth between like perfect and then just terrible. So my behavior is not binary. I'm looking for the best that I can do even on my worst days. The third thing I do is I set minimum targets rather than big goals. A great example is this video right here. And I was thinking all weekend about how I can make this amazing YouTube video and what I would do, and I just really didn't have any ideas, and I was scrolling on YouTube trying to get some ideas, and I was getting like super just overwhelmed. And like I said, I went and took a nap, which is not helpful if you want to film like the world's best YouTube video that's really going to help people. And then I realized I don't have to have that as the goal, because if I have that goal to create an amazing YouTube video, I'm not even going to turn on my camera. And I know that for myself, that if I set minimum targets rather than big goals, I actually do it, and then I can make progress. Maybe this video is not going to be so amazing. Like it's kind of lazy, let's be honest. I'm sitting here in my messy room. I didn't even tidy up. I didn't put on a cute shirt to show my abs, right? But I got it done. So that's a minimum target. So my target becomes I'll do something, not I'll do the best thing and therefore nothing. I do the same way at the gym. So if I'm trying to get back into exercise, or I'm on a day when I'm like, I just can't work out. I want to sit and binge watch something and eat Ben and Jerry's. Instead of doing that, I might go to the gym for 5 minutes. Like I will literally go and do 2 exercises. And then quite often I end up doing more. So this is where you set minimum targets as opposed to big goals, because you can always go over and above. If you set a goal to just go to the gym. So my habits, my goal for today was do a YouTube video and go to the gym. I can do those 2 things. They don't have to be great. I can just do them. I have a goal for 5,000 steps. It's pretty low. Like I think my watch just said it. I just hit it. Somehow, just sitting here, I just hit it. I'm not hitting 10,000 or 15,000. I'm setting that minimum target. Maybe I'll do 7,000 or 10. But it means that I can win more consistently and therefore stay more consistent rather than doing nothing. The way I do minimum targets with my food is I'm always looking to eat as many vegetables as I can. So rather than having to be 100% perfect and never have any processed food, I set targets to eat 1 pound of veggies or cook with veggies every single meal, cook without oil. I never cook with oil anymore. And so even if I am having a bit of processed food within those meals, or I'm having a cookie for dessert with some tea, I can still improve my habits and have my habits be great in terms of my veggie consumption, even when I'm having a crap day, because I can add veggies to a takeout meal. And then it's way better for me. And again, it's lowering the calories than if I was to just eat that takeout meal. And I do this all the time. I've done this throughout my entire journey. It is one of the key ways that I actually maintain my weight, even though a lot of the time I'm like, the way that I think about it is I shouldn't be able to maintain this because I'm so not perfect. I'm just literally just good enough. Number 4 is to have a level of external support. This is really, really crucial, and this is actually something I didn't have at the beginning of my journey, and that I've learned that I so need, and that everyone needs if they want to be successful over the long term. And that comes in the form of accountability, coaching, or a support network of people, preferably all 3. Support and community is something that you will feel like you don't need until you're having those really bad days. And that's where it really comes in. And none of us are going to be just operating like amazingly all the time. Like if that's you, you're a rare unicorn. Like most of us are like, woo, I know that I am. And so on the days that I'm crushing it, I don't feel like I need people. But then when I'm not, I need that other person that's going to come and be like, hey, like you can do this. You've got this. You are capable. You are strong. Is what I say to my kids. This is the mantra I say to them. You are strong. You are resilient. You are loved. It's one of the key mindsets that I want to teach them, that they have resiliency. But I love and so value having accountability in some form or another, because it makes it much, much more likely for me to take those steps in a positive direction rather than completely giving up. Again, like this is just all about stopping that pendulum swing. I talked about this in the last video that I did, that I actually ended up joining the Lean with Plants program, which is my program. And it's because I was thinking, like, you know, I wish that there was a program like Lean with Plants. I wish that there was something that had accountability and community, and like a coach, and it was habits focused. And if it was there, I would totally go and I would join it. And I was like, why do I not just reach out to Keisha, who's our head coach right now, and say like, hey, do you want to coach me? Can you give me some accountability? And she's like, yeah, of course. And so we set up my habits. And now just knowing that someone else is going to see my meals, that someone else is going to see whether I've marked off that I've gone to the gym or not, that I've hit my minimum targets, means that I'm much more likely to actually do them, like 1,000 times more likely, especially when I'm feeling terrible. And I actually said to her, this is how strongly I believe in accountability, and especially commitment devices. I said to her, if I do not mark off that I've done a YouTube video and a podcast, because that's my things that I struggle with the most, on the days that they are set for me inside of our app, then I will give you like $50. Like, you can invoice me like an extra $50 for those two things. And I've used commitment devices throughout my entire like YouTube, podcast, business, weight loss journey, where I will publicly say, I'm doing this, like I'm releasing a program on this date, putting out there that I'm going to do something like a potato reset, telling my friends and family. And so that kind of level of accountability, and knowing that accountability is important, is something that has helped me to stay consistent even in my worst moments. Number 5 is I'm always trying to make my life as easy as possible, because I know that I am bottlenecked by things being difficult, and we all are as humans. We're hardwired to choose the path of least resistance. It's what keeps us alive. It's where any innovation comes from. We're always wanting to make things easier. So work with that fact. Work with the fact that you're probably inherently lazy, like me. So I always try and buy as many frozen vegetables as I can, frozen fruit. If I can buy pre-chopped up cabbage or broccoli or anything that is already prepared, any kind of spice mixes that are already made up, anything that makes my life easier. Anytime I can remove decision fatigue by just deciding 3 meals a week that I can make. And by the way, if you're wanting to know more about my system and how I make that system super easy, then you can watch this video next. New tats, by the way. Just got this in LA. Things like freezer meals, things like one pot pasta, which pretty much all my videos are about how to make this as easy as possible. Just have that in mind, like even just from a mindset piece. Make life easy. Don't make it harder. Microwave a potato. Eat a microwave potato. Cook up some microwave broccoli in a steamer. Get rid of those voices that are telling you that a microwave is bad when there's no evidence to support that at all. And just make your life easier so that you can actually follow through. That's how I stay consistent. And number 6 is that I give myself rewards, because I'm like a child that needs a star chart, rather than just negative consequences. So I do both. I have the negative consequences if I don't do something, like the commitment device, where I have to give $50 if I don't do a YouTube video, or I have to say inside an app that I haven't, like I don't get to mark something off, or I have to publicly lose face when I said there's going to be a YouTube video on Monday and then there isn't, and I lose trust with people. So there's the negative consequences of that. Motorbike going past, of course. And then there's the positive consequences. So for example, I said to myself, if I can do this YouTube video and actually force myself to get in front of camera, then I will go and get a coffee with my kids and maybe go to the skate park even. And I give myself like little things and little rewards so that it feels more satisfying. And this could be as simple as being able to mark something off in terms of a habit tracker. I love habit trackers. I love being able to check off that I completed something on a day, tick that off, mark that off. It's incredibly satisfying. We do that inside of our program as well, and it works really, really well, especially if you're someone who really gets off on that kind of thing like I am. It could be as simple as being like good job, like well done, or like having something that you're looking forward to. That whole idea of like eat the frog. So do something that is difficult and then reward yourself with something that is more satisfying. I listen to audiobooks when I do run. When I work out, I listen to like my guilty pleasure playlist. It's nothing all that bad. Like I'm a Post Malone fan. It's stuff I wouldn't listen to with my kids, but I love it. It pumps me up. I feel really good when I'm listening to it. And so I try to make the difficult things that I'm doing more satisfying and more enjoyable, so everything just feels in some ways just more doable, because I'm not making my life really difficult. My life is already difficult. I think you've probably gathered that. So I'm trying to make it easier. I'm trying to do the best that I can. I'm not concerned with perfection. I'm not trying to hit 100%. And ironically, crazily, I've been able to lose 40 pounds and then maintain that for the past 4 years with 100% confidence that I will continue to do so and see this work for hundreds of other people. So something in that is working. So if you're someone who finds that you're constantly going between like really great and then terrible, then I'd love to know in the comments, like, is there anything that you've heard today that you can grasp hold of and start implementing? And if you do need help, then there's a couple of ways that we can help you do that, myself and my team. As simple as going and joining the free mini course that I have. It's the exact framework that I use to lose the 40 pounds, how to lose weight, how to get into a calorie deficit, what to eat, what to avoid, all of that good stuff. And then if you're wanting more personalized accountability and how to grow habits, we can help you with that as well. I'm going to put some information in the description. I hope you enjoyed this video. I admit it was kind of lazy, but I got it done. There's another video out there, which is a million times better than none. So if you find it helpful, please consider subscribing, give it a like, give it a comment, let me know what you found helpful, and let me know what you want to see from me. Alright, that is it. I will see you next week for another video. I have a commitment advice. I have to do it, so there will be a video there. Alright, this is goodbye.